Obviously, if you've seen YouTube's beforehand and obviously my social media, I went to Colombia, Medellin, to have quite an extensive treatment of stem cells. So had them in my knees, I had it in my hips, had it in my discs in my spine, and then both shoulders. The reason for doing it, very invasive, I must admit, and very intense, but the reason for doing it is last prep I did is the first time I had to put knee straps for when I trained legs, and I really felt the pressures of it in my knees, and that was like the turning point for me. So I've always had pain in my hip, always had pain in my back, my left shoulder, but I just get on with it. Just put your big boy pants on and get on with it. But now it's gone into the knees. It kind of hit me quite hard. I think because I've got kids now as well, it kind of hit me quite hard that my it's taking a hit and it's getting worse. And I need to start looking after it. I need to, if I want more longevity in the sport, I've got a number of Olympia titles I want in my head, which means I need to be working at full capacity. So I need to be optimal, healthy as possible. And for my kids as well. My son's 4 years old. He wants to play all the time, wants to run, play football, gymnastics, swimming, everything. And I want to be a fit dad. I don't want to be in a wheelchair by the time I'm 60. So I took the decision to go to Colombia on my off season, as far away as possible from the Olympia, so it gives me time to recover and obviously hopefully see the improvements in time for the Olympia. The week was, like I say, was a lot more intense than I realised, and because I had every area done, it was brutal, I'm not gonna lie. So we had two needles into the front, because basically behind the patella I've got no cartilage left now, so it's just bone on bone, and that's why I'm getting pain when I'm doing leg extensions, squatting, that sort of thing. They feel fragile, my knees. So the whole point of stem cell is to try and regenerate that cartilage, and that's kind of hopefully will be taking place as we speak now. The right knee as well, I've got a snapped ACL. I thought it was partially torn, but it's actually snapped now. It's not giving me any jib, like stability wise. The knee still feels solid. I'm just getting pain at the front, so I kind of hopefully that's just going to help with that. It's not going to reattach the ACL, but it might just help with it. Inflammation, that sort of thing. The hip, I had a labrum tear back in 2018, and I've had 3 surgeries on there where we've had to restructure the hip and the ball joint. We've had to shave it back because we grew a bone spur on there, and we've had to stitch the labrum where I tore it. Unfortunately, what the MRI showed in Colombia, that where the labrum was torn, it's quite inside near the groin area. The left part of the labrum is completely gone now, and the cartilage in there is gone. So it's literally, when I do any internal rotation, it goes bone on bone again, and that's when I get like a stabbing pain. So again, directly put stem cells in there to hopefully regenerate cartilage and to improve that quite a lot. The lower back, it continues. The lower back, I bulged discs back in 2010, and this is where all my problems started from. And they've just weathered away now, so they were just in a fragile state. I can still train and I'm okay with it, and to be honest, the back doesn't give me much jib. In the morning it's quite stiff, but again, I thought whilst I was over there, I'm going to try and give it the best possible way of improving. So we injected every disc all the way up, even all the way up into my spine and into my neck, just to hopefully help it and improve it. Shoulders, I've got a very inflamed labrum to the left shoulder. Thought it was actually a slap tear, so I'm quite thankful it wasn't that bad. The socket and everything looks healthy, the tendons around it looks good, it's just very inflamed. So I'm obviously performing some exercises in the wrong manner, which is inflaming it. So this is why I'm doing a lot of rehab work. You saw in the videos previous, or you will be seeing in the videos on the next one. It's going to be the next one, isn't it? So you'll be seeing in the next one what I'm typically doing in the morning to try and help that and stabilize that. But yeah, like I say, all in all, it was a very intense week. I keep going back to the word intense because I landed Sunday evening from Miami, and it was quite late. Got took to the hotel, and then we started at 6 a.m. the next morning, and it was full on. I was in different operating tables. I was having consultations with spinal surgeons, knee surgeons, neck surgeons, neurosurgeons, hair follicle testing, DNA testing. We had a nutrition guidance testing to basically make the body as optimal as possible. We went into cryo chambers, we went into hyperbaric chambers, ozone therapy, which is basically essentially taking the blood out of the body, reoxygenating it with blood, putting it back in. Just trying to make the body as healthy as possible, ready to take the new stem cells. We had about 700 million in total, which is a lot of stem cells, and that was intravenous and then obviously localized as well. When I say it was intense, I mean it was so well run. Like, this is a kind of a plug for BioAccelerator, because they were phenomenal from start to finish, and rightly so with what you pay to get there and stuff like that. But it was just, I phenomenal from start to finish. Like the concierge, even to the hotel, they organise everything like that. And the schedule was so tightly packed, but it was ran smoothly. So you were never just sat around or waiting. You were always being assessed by somebody else. So by Wednesday, I'm absolutely knackered, which is English terms for tired. That's when it really started to hit me, like the joints were seizing up. They were trying to get you to move, but your body was just wanting to just lay there and not do anything because it was just painful to move. But I understood why we needed to do it, and that's kind of the whole point of it, is just to get the body moving, getting the stem cells in and around the joints, like helping it. But what has been hard, obviously we had that week over there, is for me, training has always been my outlet, has always been good for my mental health, physical health, and I haven't been able to train. So it's been a fair few weeks of rehab work but no training, because they didn't want you compressing the spine, because obviously they put stem cells into each disc. They didn't want you impeding the hip by doing any hip hinging work. Yeah, sitting on the sidelines, being at the Arnold Classic and not being able to train, not being able to compete is hard, but I'm thinking about the long game, and not just about my career, but also my family life as well. Like, it's very important for me to be a healthy, fit dad for the kids. That's why I'm doing it. But we are back at it now. So I'm 2 days back into training. Like, the weights feel so heavy just from having that little bit of time off. But it's just nice to get blood flow again and just to switch off from the world and have my hour to myself with my headphones on in the gym. Got a long road ahead, not gonna lie. I know there's work to do, and I've got to get to it. We're less than 7 months out from the Olympia now, and you've got new young guns coming through. You've got the greats of all time still doing it. So you've got Brandon Hendrickson, who's 3 times Mr. Olympia, coming back this year. Ali Heath, who's had a flawless run so far, looking phenomenal. And these are the guys I've got to beat. So I can't be sat around doing nothing. The fire is lit, and this is where we're at the minute. So again, 3.5 weeks post stem cell. It's all about putting the weight back on, because I had to lose quite a bit of weight in order to have the treatments and feel good about it. And then, yeah, 3 months of bulking, 3 months of improving, and then we start prep, which is crazy to say we start prep again. But it'll be around here in no time, and I ain't losing that title to nobody. In order to make the most out of the stem cells, I think it would have been good to have a full 8 weeks off, just do the rehab for 8 weeks, and maybe take it easy. And that's kind of why I've only just done stem cells now. A lot of my friends in the industry were doing stem cells years ago, but I kind of held off it because I was thinking, is there any point whilst I'm putting my body through what I'm putting it through every year? I thought, why don't I look at it when I retire? And that was always my methodology about why I didn't have it done. But when I was speaking to Chris Bumstead in Miami and Flex Lewis, 7 times Mr. Olympia, they was like, no, that's not how you look at it. Like, get yourself in the best possible shape where you can get 2, 3, 4 more years out of competing if that's what you want. So that's kind of why I did it. It does say the stem cells are alive in the body from up to 8 weeks. And basically what the stem cells are trained to do, or meant to do, obviously from an umbilical cord, they're to teach your cells, which have lost their way a bit over time, some have died off, some have created bad habits, to repair like you would as a baby. So, you know, if you cut yourself as a baby and you recover so fast, and you see how much babies develop over time very quickly, that's kind of, in layman's terms, what the stem cells are doing to me. So that you put them in, they don't know anything other than growth, regeneration, that sort of thing, and it's teaching my stem cells in that 8 weeks before they die off to start regenerating and basically help with the cartilage, all that kind of stuff. So any inflamed area, any trauma to an area, it's going to go there and repair it as best it can. So it's quite exciting, and this is what I learned through Bio Accelerator when I was there. They showed us all the studies on it, they talked us through step by step what it means. It was incredible, really, and if it works, I will be absolutely amazed. I am quite a skeptic when it comes to stuff like this, but I'm willing to give it a go, definitely, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the results. And like you say, 7 months time it should be in full effect. So as I'm going into the final 4 weeks of my prep, hopefully I might be in a place where I'm not in pain. Either way, it's not going to stop me being at my best on the Olympia stage, but it'd be nice to just immerse myself in that rather than thinking, right, I can't do that exercise because I'm injured there, or this aggravates it, so I better not do that. It'd be nice to just be fully focused on winning that title and being as optimal as I can. There were definitely points of that week where I thought, what have I done? This was a bit silly, and was it really the right time? Because obviously I went out on my own. A lot of the people I were out there with, very famous people as well, had entourages, had their families, had their wives with them and stuff, so they had that support network around them. But I just didn't really think about that. And obviously I couldn't take the kids and my wife to Colombia, Medellin when I'm in the hospital for a week. So I kind of just went out there on my own. Didn't really think about the procedure itself too much. And I'm glad I didn't actually, because I might have backed out of it if I'd have seen the size of those needles. But I knew it was for the better cause. And I was just taking it each day as it comes. But there was a point where I was like, what have I done? Where I couldn't walk. By Wednesday, I couldn't walk because all the stem cells were into my knees and my hips, and it was painful just to move. But they really encourage you to move. And there was a point where I had to get out of the hospital bed to walk every 2 hours for mobility and to get. And there was a stage where I was like, oh, like, why have I put myself through this pain? Like, is it actually going to be worth it? And funnily enough, 24 hours later, I was actually a lot better and moving right. But at that time, I was thinking, and I was looking out as well, and it was pitch black, raining so heavy. You're just looking out over Colombia, Medellin, thinking, the hell have I done? But it would definitely be worth it if it takes me out of this pain that I'm in.